Today, of course, there are some major things Wall Street is looking at. Number one, look at this. Google could be broken up. In the early 2000s, the US tried to do that with Microsoft unsuccessfully. They did it with AT&T earlier, I think in the 90s, and then every broken up company eventually became AT&T again, so it really did nothing. I don't know what they're going to do with Google, but that's not what I'm talking about. Today, there will be a big FOMC meeting minutes, okay? I say big. I don't really think it's going to do much, but I think Wall Street is always antsy before a minutes gets released. And it's just a repeat of what was said in the last FOMC meeting. Sometimes a new piece of information gets released that wasn't somehow digested during the press conference, and it comes out and either spooks the market or like it gets the market going. So sometimes the market moves after a minutes gets released, and that comes out roughly like 2 p.m. Eastern time today, right? So there's that. So that's one thing that could be moving, I guess, the broader market today, okay? For the remainder of this week, we do have inflation readings coming up. Tomorrow, CPI, that's going to be a big one. PPI, another one. And then, of course, jobs claims, consumer sentiment. Those are usual things. Right now, it's pretty much baked in that in November next month, we will get a 25 basis point cut, not a 50, but maybe some of these things, some of the economic data will get really bad and force his hand, and I'm talking about Powell's hand, and bring it up to 50 once again. But right now, it's just like, it's pretty much a lock at 25%. Okay, so that's one FOMC meeting. But there's another, and you guys know this, okay, and I've been talking about it for a while. A lot of people are getting really scared about this hurricane that is coming up, and it's finally here, and it's not a good thing. I'm not saying it finally here as is a good thing, but as soon as this afternoon, Hurricane Milton will be hitting stateside, will be hitting the coast of Florida, and right now, it's Category 5. This is supposed to be the fastest hurricane, fastest tropical depression to a Category 5 hurricane in the Atlantic ever, according to this NASA thing, this NASA graphics. And, yesterday I covered a story how the damages could add up to $175 billion. So obviously, I think a lot of people are quite scared by what this is going to do, right? The damages is going to do, the disruptions this is going to do, and everything else that's going to happen afterwards, right? So this could definitely disrupt things. So, prayers go out to all the families and all the people and everyone that's in Florida. Hopefully everyone has either gotten out or has found shelter or boarded up their homes, and everyone, in Florida. But I do think this will have major impact on markets as well, because it really depends on how bad it is. Hopefully it's not. I mean, if the hurricane passes and nothing happens, then great. But if it's really, really, really bad, I do think this is definitely going to affect markets going forward, for at least for the remainder of this week, and possibly even more. So that is also something that a lot of people, I think, will be looking at. And I do think this actually started affecting things, like, for example, the DXY. So this was reported on Alpha First by one of my team members, Noah. DXY started breaking out again, right? Whenever there's like fear in the market, DXY, generally, the strength of the dollar breaks upwards, and that's not a good thing. You don't want DXY to break out. When people are fearful of the market because of uncertainty, let's say like a hurricane causing devastation or whatever else, like war breaking out and getting worse or something like that, the DXY breaks out, and that's not what you want. You want DXY to break downwards, okay? When a DXY breaks up, that means people are selling off their assets and buying the dollar or buying treasuries, and that's generally not a good thing for like Bitcoin and crypto, right? But when you see the DXY go down, generally speaking, that's a really good thing. But right now, unfortunately, DXY is breaking upwards, which kind of explain the slight weakness we may be seeing. I did notice that Microstrategy, I have it up today, because Microstrategy has been going through like a crazy squeeze. Today, they're finally relaxing now a little bit, minus 3%. So we'll see. We'll see. Because MicroStrategy is really close of breaking their March high. Moving forward, let's get back to Bitcoin. So what does this all mean? With DXY going upwards, does that mean October is canceled? Does that mean that for the remainder of this month and the remainder of this year, it's going to be bad? Well, no, that's not what it means. Okay, we're barely in the second week of this month, and I've been saying for this whole, week and 2 days of this month, things could change very quickly, right? And Matt Hogan, who is the Chief Investment Officer of Bitwise, he gives a playbook, okay? 3 things that needs to happen for Bitcoin to hit 80K, which really isn't that hard if you think about it, and beyond. All right, 3 things. Elections, which we know is coming up very quick. In any scenario would be good, except the Democratic sweep. Okay, so the only thing you don't want is everything to be Democratic, according to him. You could have a balance of both, but you just don't want everything to be Democratic, according to him. Anything but a Democratic sweep. That's number 1. Number 2, rate cuts and add a global stimulus, which we know will definitely come, right? It's already happened and more is coming. And number 3, no major negative surprises. So, we're getting a lot of surprises already. There are things that we just can't control at this point, right? So out of the 3, I definitely think these are very reasonable, right? The elections, I don't know. I mean, the polls are all over the place. Can't really make predictions at this point. But I do think that's within reason, number 1. Number 2, I think that's a certainty. Number 3, that is, I don't know. I don't know if that, we have a lot of surprises. But here's the thing. Even with surprises, we have surprises every single cycle. And guess what? Bitcoin gets through them all. So even with surprises, all they do is kind of just like delay things. But Bitcoin pushes through every single time.